Rockingham welcomes the second round of the Super 7 Bike Year Trophy. During the season, traveling becomes a big part of these drivers' lives. Now the drivers travel to Rockingham Circuit. In a traveling premiere, nothing better than the trophy newbies to explain the pre-race.
É bocadinho cansativo, é intenso.
It's intensive, but who runs for pleasure doesn't get tired. But this is intensive because we have to fly and we travel right on time.
Em cima praticamente do evento.
We land, get the baggage, try to rest a bit, wake up early and be in the track early for all verifications. So it's all very intense, mostly because this is all new to me. I try to absorb everything and that makes everything more intense. There's a normal logistic. We have to think that we should bring smaller bags, and that is a little difficult. Besides that, everything is normal. We bring normal clothes as well as the equipment, try to fit all the clothes in a small bag. There's nothing else. We should have brought adapters. That should be our lucky charm. I didn't know this track, but after driving here, I thought it was really fun and an amazing experience. And here we are in Rockingham Circuit. In another weekend of competition, the Portuguese cars would once again share the starting grid with the English Caterham 7s of Macmillan Motorsports. They were 31 in a total. Arriving here, Hugo Araújo and David Saraiva were focused in repeating the winnings in Silverstone, but the opponents were strong and showed that their job wouldn't be easy. Gonçalo Duval started his season in Rockingham. Health problems didn't allow it to participate in the first round. Also premiering here, Tiago Carvalho and Ricardo Araújo. They both won the Contest Kia Racing opportunity. As an award, they received an entire season in the trophy. Let's get to know the Rockingham circuit a bit better. Rockingham has an oval layout, but for this event the drivers race in a variant track that consists in a straight line with an inclination of 7 degrees and an interior area more sinuous with tight turns, chicanes and hooks in a total perimeter of 3 kilometers. Let's start with the qualifying that will determine the starting grid for the two races. Once again, the British from R300 category lead in overall classification. Justin Armstrong wanted to fly higher and he did it at the 11th lap with 1 minute and 29 seconds. His good rhythm made him be third in the start position for race 1 and 2. John Whitehouse didn't let the opponents to get in the way, and he had a tough fight during the following laps. With 1 minute and 29 seconds, he conquered the second position for race 1 and 2 in the starting grid. Oscar Rovelli was a strong opponent, maybe the strongest, in fact. He did the pole position for race 1. With just 1 minute and 28 seconds, he secured the second starting position for race 2. Among the Supersport category, the 1600 Richard Purgslove was once again in the spotlight. With 1 minute and 32 seconds, he did the third best time among the category. Simon Oliphant had an intelligent race. With more than 1 minute and 32 seconds, the driver assured the 13th starting position, second amongst Supersport. Having a strong season, Phil Jenkins ended up dominating the qualifying among his category with an excellent 6th starting position for race 1. With 1 minute and 31 seconds, he also conquered the 7th place for race 2. Now let's look to the Portuguese driver's performance. Among business class, just one driver, Luís Calheiros Ferreira, wanted to do more. The super driver did the fastest lap between the Portuguese with 1 minute and 32 seconds, conquers the 3rd position for race 1, 6th for race 2. Eduardo Leitão wanted to be stronger in this second round of the season, and by the 3rd lap, he did it. 1 minute and 31 seconds, the driver conquered the 2nd position for race 1, and Ricardo Leitão, his partner, got the 3rd position for race 2. And the best Portuguese for race 1 was José Carlos Pires. Lap after lap, he was fastest, and with just 1 minute and 31 seconds, he got the Portuguese pole for race 1 and 2nd position for race 2.
I think it's going to be an interesting race. I have a good rhythm, consistent and fast, so I will fight for the victory in both races. Hugo Araújo didn't want to stay behind, showing that nothing could intimidate him. He was able to be the best Portuguese in the starting line for race 2, with 1 minute and 31 seconds as the fastest lap. I couldn't ask for more. It went amazingly good. We did pole position for race 2. It was my first experience in Rockingham, only trained in the simulator, so I tried to put into practice what I did in those sessions. Here is the first race. Minutes before the race, rain says hello to the drivers. In the last minute, teams changed all the setups of the Caterhams so they could be adapted to a slippery track. Among R300 category, Justin Armstrong was able to grab the leading group, tried to put himself in the front, but with only 21 seconds from the leader, closes the first race in the 3rd position. Oscar Rovelli was the first leader of this round, but Paul Tucker was stronger and was able to recover positions. The track was not drier, which was a surprise for Rovelli, drops positions and ends up in 3rd. So Paul Tucker was in the front of the race, always able to climb positions. Tucker got the winning and the fastest lap.
But I do like the rain, I do like the wet, so yeah, starting in 11th, I got some good traction, had a great start. I think I got up to 4th on the start, so just settled down then and just pushed on.
Now let's see the Super Sport category. Ray Gilliland had an interesting round fighting against the rain. The driver loses some road battles and drop positions in overall classification. Among his category, ends up in the 3rd position.
13.
After Silverstone, Richard Purgslove had a strong battle to discuss with Phil Jenkins. Here is Richard trying to approach from the mainly opponent Phil Jenkins, but this dream was not possible to conquer. In this first race, Richard Purgslove ends in the 2nd position, like in Silverstone, and Phil Jenkins was able to conquer the victory amongst Supersport category.
Yeah, it was really difficult, but I managed to get away in the end with the dry setup as the circuit dried, and yeah, it worked really well for me.
Now the Portuguese Super 7 drivers. Miguel Coceiro was part of the group in the back. In the middle of the race, he dropped the battle he was having with other drivers and tried to grab the leading group, but they were too far away. Hence, in 7 among the Portuguese Super 7. Always racing a stricter group, Luís Calheiros Ferreira lost some positions, and trying to focus on the back battles, he was firm till the end and finishes in the 6th position overall and first among the business category. It was an amazing race after the Silverstone let down. It was an enormous gratification to be able to do what I did here. I managed to be third in the Portuguese starting grid and I ended up in 6th. That was really extraordinary. I'll take this memory forever, and this was absolutely amazing. Luís Lisboa had a strong start and finds a good strategy, as he was able to climb 5 positions. Even the weather was not a problem to him. The driver controlled his car and was able to manage the 5th position among the Portuguese. Recovered from a health problem that didn't allow him to race in Silverstone, Gonçalo Duval showed how strong he is, ends the first race in 4th position. Sérgio Saraiva was the fastest driver among the Portuguese, wanted to be part of the leading group, chose to race in the back and conquer the 3rd position in race 1. It was really harsh, didn't have a good rhythm in the qualifying and was only 8th. Then started to rain, and for me that was good because I managed to recover many positions in a time where I was fast. I rose and I was even winning to the front group, to Eduardo and Pires. Then the track started to dry again. I lost time but continued to gain when they were fighting. But this was a good result because I did really badly in the qualifying. Eduardo Leitão wanted to do better than a 2nd place he got in Silverstone. He fought to conquer the 1st position and tried everything to get there, but was only able to conquer the 2nd place, just a few hundreds from the leader. The second part with dry track was difficult because we bet entire pressure for rain, thinking the track wouldn't dry that fast. The start went well, we created distance of 4 or 5 cars, then when the track was dry, we knew it would be difficult to hold on to our opponents that had a hybrid strategy. We put up with that and end up fighting for the victory, which is the most important. José Carlos Pires had a difficult time in the beginning as he was using tires for a dry track. Only by the 3 last laps, when the track was dry, the driver was able to control the race and conquer the 1st position. It was difficult. I had a big battle with Leitão. I saved myself for the last lap because I knew these cars have a big hair cone. I overtook him in the last lap despite his good defense. There was a short difference between us, about 1/10 between me and the 2nd place. Now the 2nd race, starting with R300 category. John Whitehouse was the key player of this battle. With only 8 seconds from the leader, the driver ends up in the 3rd position overall and among his category. Oscar Rovelli was a strong opponent. Lap by lap, he was able to gain some time. In the end, by 7 seconds, let the lead out and gets the 2nd position. Paul Tucker was once again superior, was the fastest driver with a consistent rhythm and again gets the victory in the overall classification and in the R300 category. I remind, the driver was the last in the starting grid as he was not able to make any time during the qualifying session for race 2.
I had a great start, clear run through the left side, and yeah, it was a really good start, so yeah, I enjoyed it.
And now Supersport category. Simon Oliphant was trying to grab the first position from the beginning, but he was not that strong. The driver ends up way behind, but in third among his category. Richard Purgslove was once again the key player. Once again in the front battle of the race. Was strong, but he managed to conquer only the second position. And again, demolisher Phil Jenkins was the one to face too. After 20 laps, he was able to conquer the 7th position overall, first among Supersport category.
Managed to get a good start, managed to get the break with from Hugo and Jose. Just got my head down, just started putting laps together, just treated it like a qualifying session really, and yeah, it's been really good. The weather was great, it's just great fun.
Second race, let's look to the Portuguese performance. Luís Calheiros Ferreira had a bad start in overall classification, hence in the 21st position. The driver wins again between the business category.
Hoje realmente não foi nada fácil.
Today wasn't easy because we already had one race and the drivers had a better rhythm. The weather hit up and the cars were more slippery, so I had to be doubly careful, but I had the maximum fun. Today was very competitive. In the first race, a hit penalized José João Magalhães, so in the second round wanted the revenge. The driver who joined us here to this trophy was able to create a great distance and get the 5th position. Ricardo Leitão was with a good rhythm and among the top 3, but just for a while, only just for hundredths he lost this position, hence in 4th. David Saraiva didn't start well. Besides, the driver had to race from the back to the top, but was able to manage the race and conquer the 3rd position. I had some harsh battles until installing 4th. The first 3 were far away. I continued attacking and managed to gain time to Ricardo. José Carlos Pires started to grab the lead of the race, showing a good pace just like the previous race. Drops 1 position, but nothing stops him. The driver tried to get in the front, but stays in the 2nd position. We started with a low-pressure tire, so it rose in the final. The car was a bit slippery in the beginning. Hugo overtook me. I tried to go after him and touch him a little. The front of the car was a little loose and started to go off. Then I worried that it took off. It was like that until the end, always raced. I couldn't see the entrance that well, but in the end the 2nd place wasn't that bad. The best driver in this 2nd race was Hugo Araújo. The driver is having a good start, wins the 1st round in Silverstone, and Rockingham wanted to repeat the 1st position. The start wasn't the best, as he had a problem with the gearbox, but still, the driver kept in the path and finds the leader, overtakes him and got the leading of the race among the Portuguese cars. I saw I had a good rhythm to approach the front group. Meanwhile, overtook Leitão, approached Pires and overtook him too. Managed to gain some advantage. The track was slower and I had to change the chip to adapt. With more than a dozen of the Portuguese drivers, there are some other highlights in this round. For the driver Nuno Santos, this race wasn't the best, the weather was a surprise, still the driver took the risk. The driver took a radical decision, but the strategy wasn't the best and ends up in the 12th position.
teaming with Bernardo Gonzalez and João Galvão. They both were the key players of Funny Battles. In the first round, they ended up in the 11th position, and in the second day, conquered the 7th position. Highlights to other drivers, the key players of the Kia Racing opportunity. They both win the 2016 trophy, both showed a good evolution and showed that other drivers can count on them. Tiago Carvalho was able to conquer 18th position overall in the first race, 9 among the Portuguese drivers. I had a bad start because I made a mistake when the lights went off, but then I was comfortable with the car and had lots of fun and gained positions. In the second race, Ricardo Araújo had a good rhythm and ends up in 10 among the Portuguese. In the beginning, I had a tough relationship with the gearbox. I missed some passages, but then I started to understand it better, catching the rhythm. And I think I recovered the position I had lost. It was really fun, had fun battles. The race with so many overtakings makes everything funnier. Just like in Silverstone, in the opening round, Rockingham was also competitive. The pact between Portuguese and British is bringing competition to the tracks, starting with the qualification. Once again, we have to salute the environment. They're all in a good mood. The qualification was very fought, with only a few milliseconds between them. Portuguese with English drivers in the same sporty environment makes everyone happy.
For the Portuguese to race here in wet conditions to the start of the race, for the first corner, no damage, over the moon. And I think one car with a bit of damage on the nose cone, that's all, so tremendous.
Supercars, super drivers and super competition. This was the second round of the Super 7 by Kia Trophy. The next round of the Super 7 by Kia Trophy will go to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium for the last extra round of the season. 65 cars are expected in the starting grid. See you there.